Formed in Joros, a village in Dalarna, Zone Zero is one of Sweden's earliest pure heavy metal bands. The band's origins trace back to 1978 when Lasse, Lee, and Joras were playing in a cover band. And the band would go through some various name changes, from JP Rockers to Overdose, and even the crude Scrotum Metal, before ultimately taking on the name Zone Zero in 1980. They were a very young band with all the members around the ages of 18 to 20 back in the day. The band's influences were Judas Priest, most obviously, Saxon, AC/DC, Scorpions, Accept, and Thin Lizzy. Their first demo from 1981 was a live recording where they played a show in Borlänge, featuring epic tracks such as Judgment Day and Demon from the Kingdom of Death. The songs are definitely some of the heaviest from that year, let alone in Sweden. The band were known for having homemade pyrotechnics. Their road crew, which was comprised of punk rock friends of the band, would set them off during shows. The following year, 1982, the band would sign with the infamous label Pong Records and released the 7-inch single Win or Die, aka Heavy Metal, which was their only studio output. The single has become a highly sought-after collector's item with just 500 copies of the original pressing known to exist. Sadly, the band would part ways due to military service and individual members' university studies, which spread the members out across Sweden. However, they would reunite years later in 2004, recording the song I Want the Metal Back, as well as a much more recent new album in 2021. There's also been some reissues of their 80s material, the first being a CD from Shadow Kingdom Records back in 2014, and a more recent double vinyl edition from Cult Metal Classics back in 2022. Formed in Vänersborg in 1980 by drummer Lars Berger and the original guitarist Dag Eriksson, Treazon were a heavy metal band influenced by new wave British heavy metal acts like Tank, Tigers of Pantang, Saxon, and Iron Maiden. as well as older hard rock bands such as Deep Purple and Rainbow. The band had hired the guitarist Urban Svensson, who brought along his brother Magnus on vocals and later guitars due to Dag leaving the band. Their first recording, On the Road to Freedom, featured Urban Svensson and Magnus Svensson both taking on vocal duties. It was a relatively primitive recording, but it showed off the band's talent. In 1982, the band would recruit lead singer Paul Uter, and they released a single, Metal Bird, with the B-side, She's Got Bright Eyes.
Made out of nothing but metal, but it looks like silver and gold. See the metal bed. See the metal bed. See the metal bed. See the metal bed rising, heading for the sky. Never try to get near it, 'cause if you try you will die.
In 1984, the band would release perhaps their most well-known demo tape, titled Just One Bite. According to the official biography from the Inside the Universe compilation, the band were trying to get some international gigs and working on a label deal at this time. While the latter never happened, the band did at least play one gig outside of Sweden, in Copenhagen, Denmark, and sadly, in 1985, the band let their lead singer go. Towards the end of their career, they recorded a full-length album with producer Göran Elmquist. However, according to Janne Stark's Swedish Metal Encyclopedia, the producer was so disappointed with the mix that he refused to release the album with his name on it, and the band would release only a single from this material, Grampian Heights, with Rocking Horse as a B-side. And admittedly, as a fan of both the band and AOR, this single's style is a little too on the pop side. Unfortunately, Rising as a band ultimately came to a halt around this time. And unfortunately, Urban Svensson, the main creative force of the band, passed away in 1992. in 1981 and hailing from Umeå, which was a traditional heavy metal band. The band's first known lineup comprised of vocalist Henrik Kjellberg, bassist Anders Hedman, guitarist Patrick Bergholm and Thomas Jakobsen, as well as Jan Johansson on drums. Musically, they were inspired by a new wave of British heavy metal bands such as Iron Maiden and Saxon, while taking theatrics and imagery from Ozzy Osbourne and horror films, as the name Witch would sort of imply. With darker lyrics compared to most of the Swedish bands of the era, which had carved themselves a unique niche in the local scene. The band's first recording was in 1983, a demo tape that they recorded live in Ebola when the band had opened for Mog, a local band from the area. The band would then record and release a studio demo the same year in hopes of getting a record deal. In 1984, the band had signed to Tandem, a small label that had released Torch's Fire Razor EP and the self-titled LP. During this time, they replaced Jan Johansson with future Gotham City drummer Frank Stenbro. The band then recorded a pre-production demo tape titled Still Alive. Unfortunately, Tandem Records went bankrupt and placed Witch in a difficult position. And the band had changed lineup, replacing their former guitarist with Ulf Johansson, and recorded a new demo known as Soldier of Fortune. Still at a loss from the label deal folding, the band ultimately split up in 1985. Hailing from Savar Umeå, Metallien was a relatively short-lived young heavy metal band. According to website Umeå Rock City, the band's rehearsal space, dubbed the Metallic Cow House, was a hotspot for young hard rockers to visit, especially during New Year's Eve. Before disbanding, the band had around 30 gigs under their belt in just a few years. Musically, Metallien is very comparable to other Umeå bands like Gotham City and Witch. The band is most famous for their first demo from 1985, a relatively short tape featuring 4 tracks and clocking in at 15 minutes. terms of influences, you can definitely hear Accept and 80s era Judas Priest in the guitar work, and it's likely the band were influenced by earlier Swedish acts like 220 Volt and Heavy Load. And unlike a lot of the 80s traditional metal bands from Sweden, you can actually hear some US thrash influence, like maybe Metallica and some Anthrax. While it's mostly reported that the band released one demo, there are circulating recordings online, one with a single track claimed to be a demo from '86, and some live recordings. Since the band has a very small discography, I would absolutely recommend to listen to all of these. Sadly, the band split in 1987, and a few of the band members, such as guitarist Fredrik Tordendahl, went on to form Meshuggah.